Jai Hind everyone. Today we are going to cover a very important topic of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, that is decree. Decree is basically defined under section 2 subsection 2 of the code. But before going into the depth of the definition, first of all let us look at what is the purpose and what is the utility of a decree. See, the adjudication of a court of law can be divided into a decree or an order, but it cannot be both at the same time. So the adjudication or the decision of the court can be divided into decree or an order. Decree is basically the executable part of the judgment. Judgments basically covers those grounds over which the remedy has been provided. But decree is basically that remedy, that relief which has been provided to the respective party. So as I've already stated, that adjudication of a court of law can either be a decree or an order, and whether it is going to be a decree or an order, it will depend upon the matter of a substance. It will depend from fact to fact and from case to case. Now coming to the definition of decree which has been provided under section 2 subsection 2 of the code. See, the definition of a decree can be further classified into three portions. First portion is the essential elements of a decree. When you will go through the definition of a decree as has been provided under the code, first of all I request each and every one of you to kindly keep a barrack along with you so that it will be more feasible and convenient for all of you. Okay, so now when you will go through the definition of decree, you will find that there are three portions of the decree which are very essential to understand. First is the essential element as what will constitute a decree. Second is the kinds of decree, and the third one is the deemed decree. This, through legal fiction, the present provision, the present definition that has been provided under the code is also mandating deemed decree, a provision for deemed decree, which is not decree in actual sense, but through legal fiction we are deeming or we are understanding them or looking them as a decree only. The later part is also talking about the exceptions, but since it is a separate part, we will be talking about it too. Now coming to the essentials of a decree. See, if you have to understand any definition of any law, first of all, you don't need to mug it up. You have to break the components of that particular definition into certain essential elements. Similarly, when you will see the first portion of the definition of decree, which is talking about the essentials of a decree. So you have to first of all classify those essentials into different parts, in different components. So I'm going to give you 5 keywords through which you will be in a position to recall and memorize as what are the essential elements of a decree. As I am stating it, kindly go through your barrack. So the first essential element of a decree is that there must be an adjudication. Okay, the adjudication should be done in a suit. Third is it must determine the rights of the parties regarding the matter in dispute. The fourth is determination of the rights should be of a conclusive nature, and fifth one is that there has to be a formal expression of such adjudication. Now one by one we are going to elaborate them. So these 5 keywords on which the first position is of adjudication. Now what is an adjudication? See, the matter in dispute should be judicially determined, then only it will be termed as an adjudication. Adjudication is nothing but the judicial determination of a matter in dispute is the adjudication. So now the question arises that whether any order or any proceeding that is administrative in nature, can the result of that proceeding, can the order of that proceeding be termed as a decree? Absolutely not. Since it is not a judicial determination, it is not a part and parcel of a judicial pronouncement. So there has to be a judicial determination, then only it will be an adjudication. As it was held in the case of Madan Naik versus Hansubala Devi, as you people can see on your screens. If the matter is not judicially determined, then it is not a decree. For example, any matter, any proceeding, any order, any decision of an administrative nature can nowhere and by no means can be defined as a decree, since there is no judicial determination. Okay, so our first keyword was adjudication. The second keyword is suit. See, as we people are studying a portion of CPC, a very important topic of CPC, that is a civil law. And for that purpose, first of all, we have to understand what is a suit. Suit is, however, not specifically or explicitly defined under the Civil Procedure Code, but in Hansraj versus Dehradun Mussoorie Electric Tramways Company Limited, a very important and landmark case in this respect, suit has been defined. Suit is basically any civil procedure, any civil proceeding which is instituted by presentation of a plaint. We people are reading CPC, and it is very obvious that one party is termed as plaintiff and other party is termed as defendant. The plaintiff is going to institute the suit by institution of a plaint, okay, and in the answer of it, the defendant is going to file a written statement in the respective time. Okay, so the adjudication, the first keyword was the adjudication. The second keyword is the suit, which has not been defined explicitly under the Civil Procedure Code, but via judicial pronouncement it has been defined, which is any civil procedure instituted by presentation of a plaint will be a suit. But however, there are certain exceptions to it. There are several specific provisions which enable certain applications to be treated as a suit, such as proceedings under the Hindu Marriage Act or the Indian Succession Act, etc. And the decisions therein are considered to be a decree. So even if these exceptions which are instituted through an application, they are also termed as a decree. These are basic certain exceptions. So we have already discussed about two keywords. First is the adjudication, other one is the suit. The third essential is rights as to matters in controversy, which means that the adjudication, the judicial determination must have determined what the rights of the parties, and rights of the parties that is a part and parcel, that is a substance of matter in dispute with regard to all or any of the issues. So in simpler words, we can say that adjudication on the rights of the parties is yet another very important or essential element of the definition of decree. So the three keywords are adjudication, suit, and rights as to matter in controversy. The adjudication has to be on certain rights. If the adjudication is not on the rights which are there, which is a matter of substance in the controversy, then it will not be a decree. For example, when we will read certain exceptions of decree in the definition itself, we will see that there is this proceeding of dismissal for default, order 9 rule 9, an example. So in order 9 rule 9 or dismissal for default, what we will see is that there is no adjudication regarding the rights of the parties in the controversy. So it is not termed as a decree. Okay, so so far we have read about three essential elements. One is the adjudication, the other one is the suit, and third one is the rights as to matter in the controversy. Now coming to the fourth essential element, that is conclusive determination. Very, very important. Okay, the basic purpose of the decree is that the adjudication should be conclusive in nature. Conclusive means final. Whether it is preliminary decree or final decree, this is a matter of fact, this is a different thing. But if it is even a preliminary decree, then also it has to be conclusive in nature. It has to decide the rights of the parties conclusively on that respect. Okay, as it was held in the case of Narayan Chandra versus Pratiroj Sahani, the determination should be final and conclusive regarding the court which passes it. So here the determination, if we are saying that a decree has to be conclusive in nature, has to be final and conclusive in nature, it doesn't mean that there can't be any appeal against it. It has to be final and conclusive respecting the court, regarding the court which has passed it. It doesn't mean that an appeal won't lie. Decrees are usually appealable. Okay, so now the question that you can see on your screens, can interlocutory order be a decree? Interlocutory order can never be a decree since it is only temporary in nature and it can get reversed or modified at any point of time during the proceeding. Since it is not conclusive in nature, so an interlocutory order or a temporary order or an injunction cannot be termed as a decree. Okay, so the fifth essential element of a decree is, going by the definition of the decree, I hope you people are there with your bare act, is the formal expression. What is a formal expression? As the nomenclature itself indicates, that the decree has to be in a manner prescribed by the law. It has to be formally expressed. As you people can see, the adjudication should be expressed formally, and such formal expression should be given in the manner prescribed by the law. It means that there is a certain format in which a decree has to be drawn. See, a judgment, as I've already told you, that a determination of the court can be either an order or a decree. Now decree is always going to follow the judgment. Decree will always be on the grounds of the judgment. So there is this formal expression of the decree, how and in what format, on what formal expression the decree has to be drawn, the remedies to the parties has to be provided. Okay, the decree should be drawn separately and it should follow the judgment. We have already discussed it. So these were the 5 important elements of a decree that to constitute the adjudication into a decree. These 5 essential elements are very, very important when you are going to write it in your exams, be it in your semester exams, and also for the competition point of view. This topic is very, very important and you have to mention all these 5 essential elements in detail. So second portion of this lecture is the types of decrees. When you will go through the definition of decree under CPC, you will find that there are 3 types of decrees that have been stated. First is the preliminary decree, other one is the final decree, and third one is partly preliminary and partly final. Preliminary decree. As you people can see on your screen, a decree is stated as a preliminary decree when the rights of the parties regarding all or any of the matter in dispute are determined in the adjudication, but it does not disposes of the suit completely. It means that it is only a prior stage in working. It has not completely disposes of the suit. But in the respect for which the preliminary decree has been drawn, it is conclusive, no doubt. But still there are certain other proceedings which are required to be carried on by the court. Okay, so it is only preliminary decree. Preliminary decree means that the decree which is drawn up on a certain issue between the parties during the course of proceedings, but which has not completely disposed of the suit. As you people can see on your screen, Moolchand versus Director Consolidation. A preliminary decree is only a stage to work out the rights of parties until the matter is finally decided by the court and adjudicated by a final decree. It means it is the same thing. It means a similar thing which we have already discussed. That preliminary decree never disposes of the suit completely. There are still certain proceedings which are required to be taken on. In other case of Shankar versus Chandrakant, Supreme Court held that preliminary decree is a decree in which the rights and liabilities of parties are declared, but the actual result is left to be decided in further proceedings. To clear out this ambiguity, let's take an illustration. Example, A files a partition suit against B. Okay. During the proceedings, the court passes a preliminary decree on the shares of A and B. In the preliminary decree, only the shares of A and B, that is the contending party, that is the disputing party, only the shares are determined of A and B separately. But yet, the final partition has not taken place. Subsequently, after hearing both the parties and the arguments contended by both, the court passes a final decree adjudicating upon the said partition. This is the difference between preliminary decree and final decree. A preliminary decree is conclusive in nature in that respect, no doubt, but it does not completely disposes of the suit. But on the other hand, a suit is only finally disposed of once a final decree is passed. Okay, now let's have a look at final decree. So final decree, as the name suggests, is a decree which disposes of a suit completely and settles all the matter in dispute between the parties. Okay, the final decree does not leave any matter to be decided further. After this, once the final decree has been drawn, it will be termed that the suit has been completely disposed of. So now there are 3 ways in which a decree can be finalized. First, when no appeal is filed against a decree within a prescribed time period, then obviously if a time period has been provided to you by the law that during this time period you are supposed to bring an appeal against a decree and that time period has expired and no appeal has been brought, then the decree is final. The other is matter in the decree has been decided by the highest court. This is yet another very simple point, that if the highest court, which is highest in respect of the right to relief that you want, if that highest court has already adjudicated on the matter, then it is a final decree. And third point, which is very relevant to the present section, is when the decree passed by the court disposes of the suit completely. So when a decree which has completely disposed of the suit, which has terminated the suit, which has ended the suit, and there are no further proceedings which are required to be carried on, then this is a final decree. Now coming to the last type of decree, partly preliminary and partly final. Okay, see, this is only one category of decree. Don't get confused. This is one category of decree which is partially preliminary and partially final. Till now we have read completely preliminary decree and final decree, but this is yet another type of peculiar decree which is partly preliminary and partly final, and we are going to study this with an example. See, if there is a suit of possession of an immovable property along with the issue of mean profit, so we can see that there are two issues before the court. One is regarding the possession of immovable property and other one is the determination of mean profit. Okay, and the court passes a decree deciding the possession of the property. This is final. It means that the final decree, the final in nature of the decision, that in whose possession the immovable property will go. This is final decree. But there are certain instances that there is a certain portion of this decree which is preliminary in nature. Court said that okay, as far as the possession of an immovable property is concerned, this is final in respect, but at the same time the court orders an inquiry for mean profit. Now once the inquiry will take place, then only mean profit will be determined. Okay, so in respect of mean profit, it is preliminary. So this is only one category of a decree, partly preliminary and partly final, partly preliminary in some respect and partly final in some other respect. Okay, now coming to the another portion of the definition, deemed decree. Deemed decree, as the name suggests, that it is not actual decree, but through legal fiction we are considering this as a decree only. So if you go through the definition, as I've already told you, that we are breaking the definition into different portions so that it is more feasible for you to understand. Okay, now you will see that there is a deemed decree provision under the section. See, an adjudication which does not formally fall under the definition of decree stated under this section of the Code of Civil Procedure, but due to a legal fiction, they are deemed to be decrees. We are considering them as a decree only. So there are two points which have been provided by the definition: rejection of a plaint and determination of the issue of restitution of decree are deemed decree. For rejection of a plaint, we have to go and read Order 7, Rule 11. Okay, there are certain instances when your plaint is going to get rejected. And similarly, determination of the issue of restitution. For this purpose, we have to study section 144 of CPC, which we will be covering in next topics, next lectures. So these two are basically deemed decrees. So the last portion, the exception, which will not be termed as a decree, has also been provided by the definition. So the first is Order 43 Rule 1 along with section 104, or in other words we can say appealable orders. Those orders of which their appeal will lie as an appeal from an order. In simpler words, we can say appealable orders. Obviously, since they are orders, and I have already termed that the adjudication of a court of law can either be a decree or an order and cannot be both. So the first exception which has been explicitly provided by the definition is that appealable orders, or those orders of which their appeal lies as an appeal from an order. For this purpose, we have to go to order number 43 Rule 1 along with section 104, in which there have been certain provisions, certain points which state that against which orders, against what orders an appeal will lie. Since a decree is usually appealable, but not all orders are appealable, this is a very valid difference between a decree and an order. So the other exception which will not be termed as a decree is dismissal for default. We have already talked about it. Since it is not regarding the rights of the parties in the controversy, therefore it has been exempted from the definition of a decree. Dismissal for default, for this purpose we have to study Order 9 Rule 9, that where on the date of hearing the defendant arrives, the defendant is present but the plaintiff is not present. At that point of time, the court can proceed ex parte and the plaintiff will be precluded to bring a fresh suit on the same cause of action. However, he can file an application so that his absence can be condoned. So these were the few portions of the definition of decree. Okay, so let's take a quick recap of the definition of decree. See, we have divided the definition of decree into three categories except the exceptions. In the first category, we have talked about the essential elements of a decree, the essential components which you have to write mandatorily in your answer sheets. There are 5 essential components. Since if all those essential components won't be there in the present matter or in any respective matter, then it will not be termed as a decree. So writing all those 5 elements are very, very important to you. The second portion of our lecture was the types of decree. So there are basically 3 types of decree: preliminary decree, final decree, and partly preliminary and partly final decree, which we have already discussed. Okay, the third portion of the definition was deemed decree, which is not exactly decree, but through legal fiction we consider them as a decree only. And the fourth portion, or the exceptional portion, was that this section of decree provides a couple of instances which will not be termed as a decree, and these were the exceptions. So I hope that you people were in a position to recall or to memorize the definition of decree. Thank you so much.